All right, today we're diving into linear functions. A linear function is one of the simplest types of functions you see in algebra. The general form is y or f of x equal mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. Okay. What do these two numbers mean? So the slope m tells us how steep the line is, whether it goes up or down as we move from left to right. And the y-intercept b tells us where the line crosses the y-axis. That is the point 0, comma b, right? Now, how do we about to graph the linear function? There are two methods. The first one is brute force approach, right? So basically, you just come up with a t-table, pick some x value, plug them into the equation, and then plot the points. Okay? It's not an ideal way, but it's always work on any function, not just linear. Once we have at least 2 points, we connect them to make a line. Right? You only for linear function for linear graph, you only need 2 points. The second approach is slope intercept method. This is faster if the equation is already in slope intercept form. That is y equal mx plus b. We start by plotting the y-intercept and then use the slope rise over run here to find the second point and draw the line. Right. So let me show you what I meant. Here I have f of x equal negative 3/4 x plus 2. So the first thing first, my first point is going to be the intercept point, which is 0, 2, comma 2, right? So 2 here is my y-intercept, right? And I need another point. How do I do that? Rise over run. I have negative 3/4. So when you have a negative, meaning instead of rising, you're actually going down, right? So go down 3 unit. 1, 2, 3, and then go over to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. That'll be your second point right here. And then connect the dot. So we can do this. There you go. Okay. Right. 0, comma 2. Make sure you list the point. 4, comma negative 1. Same thing with the second one. I have f of x equal 5 half x minus 6. So minus 6. First thing first, I'm gonna find minus 6. That's my y-intercept. And then this is positive slope, so rise 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go over 2, 1, 2. Basically, you do like this. I'm going to do a little zigzag so you can see where I rise and where I run. And that will be my second point. Easy peasy. All right, second part, we want to find an equation of a line, right? Quick toolbox refresher here. I have slope intercept form. Let me highlight it in green. Right. And then another one called point slope form. I'll highlight in blue. Okay. Where's point? Why is it called point slope form? Because the point here, there's y1, x1, and y, and x and y. So those are points. Right? That's what they call point slope form. And if you notice that if I solve for m, I got m equal y minus y1 over x minus x1. Right? That's rise over run. Right, let's do this. Find a linear function that has a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 5. Well, that's it. They already give you pretty much everything. Slope, that's my m. And the y-intercept, that's my b. Right. So y equal 3x plus 5. Done. That's the easiest one. Next, find a linear function that has a slope of negative 2 and passes through the point 1, comma negative 5. This point right here is not a slope. Okay, remember the slope is 0, comma b. or well, the x component is not 0, so we know that it's not y-intercept. All right, the slope is, that is my slope. I highlighted in blue. But I need b. How do I do this? I can use the slope intercept form. Remember the slope intercept form in green right there. I have y equal mx plus b, right? I'm gonna plug in, here's my x and here's my y. I'm gonna plug in x, y, and then m, and then solve for b. So I have a y is -5, m is -2, and then x, well, x is 1, right? Plus b. And then solve for b. B equal -3. And now I can use the same thing. I can use y equal mx plus b. Now I have my m, I have my b. All I have to do is plug it in and got my equation. Y equal -2x more plus -3, which is -3. Not too bad. All right. Next one, find the linear function satisfies the following conditions. F of -2 is 5 and f of 4 equal -1. They actually give you points here, right? So here my x1 is -2, input is -2, and output is 5. And then for second point, input is 4 and output is -1. Okay, so that will be your x1, y1, x2, y2. And when they give you point, you're going to use a point slope form. You're going to use this one, right? Because you need that to find the slope, right? So first thing first, I need a slope. In order to find the equation of a line, I need slope and I need y-intercept. So the first thing I'm going to do is looking for my slope. M equal y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y2 is -1 minus y1 is 5 over x2 is 4 minus x1 is -2. So a -6 over 6, sorry, 6, not 8, 6, which is -1. Okay, now I'm gonna find my b. Well, I have m, and then okay, I can use one of those points there to find my y-intercept b. Right, so y equal mx plus b. Y, I'm gonna choose the first one, -2, 5. It doesn't matter. You can choose second one. You get the same result. Y is 5. M is -1 there. X is -2. Let me use color code. See what I'm going. Plus B. Right, and then solve for B. B will be a 3. Right. Okay, I got B, I got M. I'm done, right? All I have to do is put them together. So y equal, sorry, I'm running out of space here. Y equal mx, so which would be -x, -1x. So I'm just gonna write -x plus b, which is +3. There we go. All right. Now we talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. A parallel lines mean those two lines have the same slope. They make sense, right? They must have the same slope if they are parallel. And two lines are perpendicular. You know, actually, let me put a little note here. M1 equal M2 if they are parallel. Okay. Two lines are perpendicular. It's just a fancy way of saying the two lines form a 90-degree angle if the product of their slope is -1. Another way of saying this, if two lines are perpendicular to one another, then their slope are opposite reciprocal. M1 and M2 are opposite and reciprocal. You know, let me say flip. Faster. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Find the equation of a line that contains the point 6, -2, and is part A parallel to the line y equal -3x plus 2. So the first thing I can, I know that if the two lines are parallel to each other, that means M2 must be equal to M1, and in this case equal to -3. That was fast. The next part, I'm going to find my y-intercept B. Okay. So I'm going to use this. I'm using this formula: y equal mx plus b. Here is my x. Here is my y. I can use that. So y be -2. M is -3. X is 6. And plus b. So b must be 16. Right. All right, I got slope, I got b. All I have to do is put them together and got my equation. Y equal -3x plus 16. Done. All right, part B, perpendicular to the line y equal -3x plus 2. So because it's perpendicular, the slope that I'm looking for, say M2, is going to be opposite. So instead of -3, it's going to be +3. And reciprocal, so it's going to be 1/3. Now you flip it. Okay. All right, for the y-intercept, same way. Just plug things in. -2 equal 1/3. And x is 6 plus b. Okay, -2 equal 2 plus b. So b must be 4. No, -4. Okay. All right, so put them together. Y equal 1/3 x minus 4. Not too bad. For applications, demand equation. If the price of a product and demand for it are known to be linearly related, this is very important when they say that. It means we can think of the price and the demand in units are order pair. Right? With a demand for 240 units when the price is $180, and a demand for 200 units when the price is $200, so slightly higher. Determine the equation. So, like I said, because it's linearly related, we can think of the units. So 240 compare with 180, the price 180, and 200 unit compare with the $200 price. All right, now first thing first, these make me think of calculating the slope. Right, so m equal, this is my x1, y1, x2, y2, right? M equal y2 minus y1, so 200 minus 180 over x2, so 200 minus x1 minus 240. I have 20 over -20 over -40, so that would be 1.5. Right. All right, let's find out value b. Y equal mx plus b. You can pick any of these points. I'll pick the second one. So 200 here for y. Slope was 0.5. X was also 200 plus b. 200 equal 100 plus b. So b equal 100. Right. So the equation that we're looking for is y equal 0.5x plus 100. All right. That is one of the